distractions. Imagine how.
Good morning. Good morning. It's nothing like being out on a Monday at 2:54 a.m. on my way to get my exercise in, to get my day started. I remember a time when I was super scared about Monday morning. Sunday night, I would start getting anxiety. And it still happens, but now I just say, dude, it's already under control. You know what to do. Just get up and do what you do every day. Go at it hard. But I'm going to share something with you. And contrary to popular belief and what people might think about me and my life, it's not perfect. It's not always happy, happy, joy, joy. It's not always, well, it is always positive, because I don't believe that there's nothing that can't be resolved. I don't believe that. I don't care what it is. I don't even care if it's in death. If it's in death, it's God's will. So then that it's fine too. But in my family and in my wife's family, marriage is not something where we have a model to follow, right? And we know that the devil will come to steal, kill, and destroy. And the first thing he wants to do is he wants to break the home. He wants to break the internal function of the household, because he knows that if he can start to tear down the foundation, then ultimately he can start to penetrate all the other beings that are involved within that realm. So with me and my wife not having a model, I didn't have a model of marriage growing up with my father and my mother. My mother was gone. Hell, I don't even remember. Honestly, I just remember glimpses of our relationship. And then my father wasn't married for the longest time and was in and out of different relationships. And then now they've been married, maybe 20 years, 20 plus years. But even during that, I was majority away. I wasn't there. I did not grow up seeing what a proper marriage structure resembled. In business, I have models that I can follow that can keep my business on track, because the moment I get off course, I can remember what that model looks like. I can go back to that model and I can look at it and I can say, inside that model, you got to do this. So it keeps you back on track. So you never deviate too far from your business model, because you have one in front of you. My wife, her mother, I'm not 100% sure of that background, but the marriage model is not there. And I have to tell you something. There's a lot of things that attack me that I don't share, because I'm not sure of the testimony that I can give to you while in it or coming out of it. It hasn't been revealed to me how that testimony is going to help somebody. So most of the times I don't say anything. But with me and my wife, I can be comfortable and feel comfortable and vocal enough to say that me and her are having some type of internal issue, and a lot of it has to do with the fact we don't know what to do. We've reached a point in our marriage where we have ran out of suggestions on what we can do. I'm not saying that that's the end and we're getting a divorce and we're going to split the kids down the middle. We're going to split the house down the middle. We're going to split the vacation property down the middle. We're going to split the back. I'm saying that there's a point that we've come to where we don't have a model to follow that will get us back where we need to go. Now, I feel comfortable talking about this. I haven't got her direct consent or permission to speak about it. So I won't say what my wife is doing. I won't say what we are doing. I'll say what I am doing. And what I am doing is being aware that there's a problem, and I just don't have a proper model to follow in order to get that problem back in line. Because as I said earlier, there's a solution to everything. There's a solution to everything. But without those proper models in place, without those proper concepts and those proper principles and those proper values, those all in place to show you how you create something that's great and that can last, you have a problem. And you have a bigger problem if you're in denial. If you're in denial that you need these things and they're not there, you have an even bigger issue. I'll have you consider something. That just because I may have had business difficulty and not spoke about it simply means that I did not have a proper testimony to give that could help somebody, versus being in a position where I could talk to somebody about my marriage and say, hey, listen, I don't have all the answers. I'm going to go find the answers. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to make sure that I get the answers and that I can keep my marriage together. Because if you're having problems 5 years in, it's hard to make it 10, 15, 20 years on the same even keel, or without cheating, or without becoming bitter, or without saying things disrespectful, or without, there's a couple things that we have not done inside of our marriage that I don't want to do. I never want to do. And that's one, put my hands or touch my wife in a way that is less than loving. That's it. Or call her out her name. Or become so utterly disrespectful that what I've said leaves an imprint on her heart, on her mind. See, I grew up in a household where we seen police officers come into the house because of domestic violence. That happened. My kids ain't never seen no police officers at my house, because in my mind, I know that is a trend. That is a chain that I plan on breaking. But without a proper marriage model in place, you have to be aware. If you don't have the model, it doesn't even matter what the model is. For me right now, I don't have a proper marriage model. But just like a workout model, I found one. I followed it. I implemented it. Just like a financial model, I found one. I followed it. I implemented it. Just like a work model, I followed it. I implemented it. I did it. Now, in marriage, it's a little bit different because it's two people. But I'm not responsible for the other person, no more than the other person is responsible for me. We're responsible to do our own part. And for me, part of my part is to be aware that, hey, listen, I got issues. There's problems. Things happen. Right? We were just at church yesterday. It wasn't all good. It wasn't all good. There was times when the pastor would say, look at your neighbor and say such and such. I look at my neighbor and be like, my neighbor was my wife looking at her crazy. She probably looking at me crazy. I don't know. And it could be completely, listen, if I know Sunday night I start feeling anxiety about Monday morning, well, that I know that's just the devil coming in there trying to play his little game and trying to create some type of chaos to get me off track when I know better. See, time proven models have taught me that's just a game that's being played. Everything's gonna pan out just right. Just keep doing what you've been doing because you know what to do. So why worry when you know what to do? But now when you put marriage in that place and you don't have a proven model, you don't know if you're going through something that's normal. So everything feels like a divorce. And that's the game that starts getting played. Divorce this, divorce that. That's the solution. Okay. What's the problem? That's an easy solution. What's the problem? You might find out there's not even a problem. Or you might find out that there's just some fine tuning or some tweaking. That's why I'm saying I'm okay with this problem. Because this too shall pass. But only if I take care of what I need to take care of. If I'm responsible for what I'm responsible for. If I am aware enough to say, hey, I don't have the answers. Right? In my house, we're first generation to do a lot. And that's okay with me. You just got to work it out. When you first generation, you don't have a model. You don't have nobody backing you. You don't have a plan. You don't know how you're going to come at it. That's okay. It's better to be a first generation without a model than be another generation with a chain. Because I see them fools all over the place. You can walk around with them chains of depression. You can walk around with them chains of broken marriage. You can walk around with them chains of walking out on your kids. You can walk around with them chains of poverty. You can walk around with them chains of slave mentality. You can walk around with them chains. Or you can stop making them excuses and say, I don't have a model, but I know that there's one that exists. And then you can go out and you can just find it. Because the fact that me and my wife happen to be going through something don't mean that we won't come out of it all right, or better. It happens. It happens. It happens. First generation to do a lot of things. First generation to hold a marriage together. Not saying we're going to like each other all the time. But together for the right reasons. Not for the kids. Not for convenience. Not because it's the right thing under God. But all of that in equal portions. An equal pie split up in multiple different ways, proportionately distributed to each aspect of that. So like when I pray to God, I say less of me, more of you. Well, now in my marriage, maybe I got to say more of me, less of you. Maybe I got to do more. But you can't say that you're great in life and you're giving up on relationships. Hilarious. You can't say that you're great at life and you're giving up on relationships. That's not greatness. That's quitting.